What's up, everybody? Welcome to Brad&James, the live, fun, interactive conversation
about almost anything.
And in almost anything, that can sometimes be technical difficulties. Because, hey, that's the good thing about this show. Anything
it's gonna happen.
falls
it
into
can happen. It can happen. So it happens to the best of us. This was not in our control. Our internets decided that it wanted to do what it wanted to do. So we have weathered the storm and we are back.
We're doing the best we can, and we are back for now. So we'll just roll with it until we can no longer.
So you were go ahead and you were talking about and about the mandate for masks is where we had started off last week. Now you're gonna have to bring us back there again. So
I wanted everyone in the Jones County area to be well aware that we have been placed back on the mask mandate list. Super 7 list.
Yeah. This week.
This week,
deal.
yeah, it
Tough
could change,
deal.
but so that's where we are. We've been there before, and it is tough, but you know, I think what we were talking about earlier is just, you know, what are we doing? Are we doing the right things out of obedience and, you know, looking out for each other? Because that's where I am personally.
Yeah,
it's not anything that I just love doing. Although, you know, I thought about that as well. It's become a lot more easy now for me to get out of my vehicle and go in somewhere and put a mask on.
It's just
You just do it.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
I went in the grocery store last week and I had gotten out and actually probably the first time in months where I got out and didn't just. And I kept feeling like something was weird. So I kept feeling like I had my keys, I had my wallet, I had my phone.
You have your mask on,
and I was thinking, well, that's okay. So I'm sitting there going, but usually because I put it on the car before I even get, and I'm just thinking, like, what is it? And I walk in the door and I see people, and I was like, oh, you know, I don't have mine. So I
and then you like immediately feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have my mask on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know I hate the minute, but I was thinking,
especially in some places.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Especially grocery stores, like it's 100 people there.
Got to mask up.
Yeah, and you know, and I, you know, like I said, with it lifted last time, you know, it was, you know, there were definitely people that were like, I ain't wearing, you know, and I'm in there sick of it. I'm sure they are.
We all are.
But you know, so like the second there's a reprieve, but for me it was like, we're still in this.
I never really.
We're still in it. I never stopped.
Yeah. I mean, some places I didn't, but for the most part, there was really no change for me wearing a mask when we came off the mandate the first time, and it'll be that way because, you know, like we were talking again earlier. Pardon our technical difficulties, but you know, flu season is here.
Flu season is here.
And,
are you getting the flu shot?
You know, normally I don't.
I shouldn't ask that, shouldn't I?
Normally I don't.
Did you get one?
I haven't yet, but I probably will. I know they said to get one. They said like 2 weeks before the end of October. I know that's kind of. But I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm not, and I say that because I will say I'm not usually, you know, someone who gets sick easily. Mm-hmm. But I say that with a little caution nowadays because I've had friends who were the exact same way, and they've dealt with COVID, you know, earlier this year, not a person who normally would get sick. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to be like, man, I mean, I don't ever get a flu shot. I don't get sick. I don't want to be like that person.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to take it seriously and think about the benefits. Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't yet.
Yeah. One of my friends, you know, a younger guy, he said he had COVID, and again, you know, young guy. Yeah. You know, I don't know if he's even 30, and you know, has COVID, you know, said he was doing fine, but you know, but no smell and can't taste. Yeah, that's not fine. That's not, that don't work for me. That's the thing. That's the thing. You know, that is a I have no idea what that must look like to not be able, like, you can't taste and you can't smell.
Yeah.
Like, that's a deal, man.
That is a deal. I talked to a friend of mine who battled with it earlier this year too, and that's just such a weird thing that has come along with this nasty virus.
With this nasty virus, for sure. And
like, you're taking away my sense of smell and taste. like, you suck.
Yeah.
Like, what else? I mean, you're bad enough already.
How do you deal with that? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely been
because correct me if I'm wrong, but couldn't that be? Is that a possibility of being your only symptoms for some people? It's just losing your sense of smell.
According to him, that was his only symptoms.
Yeah, that's
he
terrible.
had that he couldn't no fever, no that. He said I'm fine, except when I was all. That's not fine.
Yeah,
that's it. I had another young lady that I know that she again. She had those same kind of symptoms, and then they just had they had some other like kind of bodily function issues. Just couldn't keep food. Diarrhea. Real stuff. I mean, so
that's right.
There's been a gamut of symptoms that you're hearing that just are that and it's crazy. Like most of these. The thing is, these kind of things, when young people do have symptoms, like these are what they're having.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of.
It shows no favoritism.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like young people are asymptomatic for the most part, but when they catch them, it's real.
I guess that's what I'm saying is like you can be young and catch it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it doesn't matter.
No.
Whereas, and this was something we were talking about earlier too, about how much we've learned in this process.
Yeah.
Early on it was medical
up,
chiefs and everybody was like, this is day-to-day things that we're finding out that are new. And initially, I think a lot of people, myself included, were under the impression that younger people were almost it's just not something they had to worry about.
Yeah, right.
And that quickly became a reality.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we are still doing and taking the necessary precautions.
We have got to be diligent. I saw even last week another friend leads a youth ministry, and they had to cancel their youth services this week just because so many of their students were in quarantine. Yeah. And then they didn't want to have it spread in the church. And here's the reality of what we're dealing with. Real stuff. So
that's right. And I think I want to say also that I'm not necessarily saying. There's extremes, or for me, I feel like there are extremes, but I guess when you're around other people, it's just, be conscious of that and think about those people.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that, you have to wear a mask 24/7. I won't, but I just try to use a little common sense.
Well, no, it makes sense.
I don't have, there's not much there, but
there are, so and then you kind of see. I saw a friend when he posted a video. He's here's the do's and don'ts of COVID, and so he was showing himself in a car by himself with his mask on. He's this you don't do.
Right. Yeah, don't have to do that.
You don't do that. So nobody in the car with me, not wearing my mask in the car. But there's some people. There's some that I've seen that even wear them in the car, and so which you never know what risk factors they may be dealing with to where, maybe really even going out it may be a thing for them. So, or at least
it's at least the enough for you to be where it's not something that I should look at someone driving a car wearing a mask by themselves and me say anything about it.
Yeah. Well, it makes
really
sense.
Just
makes sense.
Whatever. It's a comfort thing,
right?
And hey, that's great because we are all different. We're gonna, us, man. We gonna do what we want.
We're gonna do what you want to do. Yeah. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. So that's clearly where that was. Yeah. You were talking about again. I was complimenting your shirt a little earlier.
Well, I don't know why, but thank you.
It worked
this
out.
whole thing.
I usually I will rep I'm one of my favorite teams or something like that. Usually I do not rep a local team because I won't seem like favoritism or anything like that.
Yeah, I know.
But tonight I had to pull out the tornado.
The golden tornado.
For the district, because football is king, and for the district champion, Laurel Golden Tornado. So I had to represent them tonight as they and first year coach Ryan Ernest as he wins his first district title as the head coach of the Tornadoes.
Yeah,
so
good for him.
It's crazy.
Good
Laurel's
guy.
had a couple wild weeks, a huge victory over West, which was massive, and then they beat Brookhaven last week, I guess, to clinch division. So anyway, just had to rep the Tornadoes tonight.
Got to.
And but excited about all our local teams that are gonna make the playoffs. Looks like it'll be West and at least, and I'm trying to think who else. West, Laurel, and I think we'll get 3 teams from our division. I can't remember. William Frazier said he's on there, and he'll help me out on that. But
there you go.
Yeah, that's where we're at on that. So yeah, repping the Tornadoes.
You were repping the Tornadoes tonight.
Yeah.
I was hoping to be repping some Atlanta Braves swag.
The National League champion Atlanta Braves swag. That's
Goodness.
And like I said, there's some little kid in some third world country that's got that Atlanta Braves National League champion shirt on.
Well, guess what? They can keep that.
They keep
because,
okay. You wouldn't wear it anyway?
Why would I? They did exactly what. Oh man, I can't even talk about it. It's just so frustrating.
Because what they were up 3-1.
Yeah, they were. Until they weren't.
Against the
Dodgers, yeah.
So,
Dodgers, who are leading the series right now against the Rays. They could be. And, I was listening to some of our former podcasts. Quick plug, real quick.
There.
You can download and listen to our podcast on all your podcasting platforms, including YouTube, if you'd like to watch it.
Yeah, for real.
But you know who called the Dodgers the champions? You know who said they thought they were going to win it all? Hagen.
Oh,
he said it. I was listening.
Don't give him any credit.
It's on tape,
that
man.
Guy,
recorded.
We cannot afford that ego to get any larger.
Because I was like, Hagen, tell me who's going to win the World Series, and he said this. He was like, I kind of think the Dodgers, but they have they're good at getting there and choking. So they got a lead right now. We'll see what happens. But if
who did I pick?
Y'all both were leaning a little towards San Diego. That was the other team that we mentioned because they were playing.
Yeah,
they were getting
really
hot, and
yeah.
you didn't really care because the Cardinals were.
Yeah, I didn't really care.
But he could call it. Dodgers, man. What about that for Los Angeles though?
Hey,
if they do.
Lakers and Dodgers.
Dodgers.
LA will be title town.
This year, man.
But here's the deal. You ready?
I'm ready.
If Tampa Bay wins, they're title town too.
Oh, because of
the Lightning.
Yep.
They
couldn't think of their name.
Yeah.
I was like, slapstick.
hit your puck.
That's right.
Where you're hitting your puck.
Knuckle puck time.
So so the Lightning, so Tampa Bay.
Could
so
be.
it's title time. And then here comes the Super Bowl. And here we start talking again. And who's looking good? Tampa Bay.
The Falcons.
The Falcons look good in the uniform.
I thought that's what you meant.
No, I'm talking about. I'm on who's looking.
You mean actual win percentage.
Win the championship? Yeah. Tampa Bay again.
I know. They could.
It could be.
Wow.
What
if that happens?
Oh, it hurt my heart because it's very clear.
Hey,
what seems very clear is that my Cowboys are not. They decided that they have taken the season off.
You know what?
Because this is rough.
It's okay.
They done hurt Dak. They done hurt Andy.
Everybody's hurt.
I mean, hurt. Everybody hurt.
Maybe not
coaching
staff,
but they don't like them. It is rough in Dallas right now. So it's tough.
They might be going through the big D, and I don't mean Dallas. If you know what I'm saying. There might be some separation, aka divorcing of some personnel.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is going on there, but they mess around. They're gonna make us miss Jason Garrett. Like, I don't know what is. We are hurting. We are hurting. So yeah. So anyway, yeah. And then we got in the Big Ten started playing football this week. Hooty hoo!
I sometimes watching things they hurt.
Yeah.
And then there are other times where it just really, really,
really hurts.
Gets on another level.
Sure.
And when
what would that be?
It's not even so much that Justin Fields is
just saying a name hurt, don't it?
Right, it does.
It's like cold water on a sensitive tooth.
But then the whatever network.
Now where was he at
on,
before he went to Ohio State?
Anyways, it's not important.
Oh, okay, all right.
It is important.
Okay.
But then the headline is like, Ohio State dominates behind Fields' near perfect performance.
Yeah, I think he only missed one pass.
And I'm like,
all game, the whole game,
stuff like
the whole game, one pass. That was it.
Right here.
And not, but see, I think Georgia fans have to be careful because dual threat quarterbacks don't do good against Alabama. Wait. Oh, yeah, they do.
I'm not even focusing in on one game.
You need to focus in on one game.
I understand that.
There has been one team between Georgia and everything. It's SEC championship, national championship, Wheaties championship,
right?
Whatever championship there is.
I understand. Trust me. I've witnessed the last 4 games where we've held
Georgia right now. Georgia right now. It's the issue. The same thing that is the issue between Georgia and Mississippi is the same thing between Georgia and its destiny.
But I'd rather have the issue of one team versus a list of a bunch of teams to where, you know what? I come out and I win that first game of the season.
Missouri Tigers?
No.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm talking about anybody who has issue, who has trouble.
Talking about my Tigers.
I'm not.
Who beat the defending national champions
2
weeks ago.
Yes, and what a team they are
and
this year.
And then beat the Kentucky Wildcats this week.
Wow, what a yes.
Hey, look, Kentucky looked good against Tennessee.
I mean,
sorry, Missy.
Rocky Top.
Sorry, Missy Johnson, but you know.
That's just so crazy. It's just like first of the year, a few games in, you're like, wait, what? And then who knows?
Okay, so I'm just telling you, look, don't.
But
I'd rather Georgia played Missouri yet?
Not yet. We already talked about this. Not yet.
Well, we didn't. Do we remember it didn't happen?
Yes, it didn't happen. But yes, no, they have not.
Do we want to win? They play. Who's Georgia's next opponent?
Kentucky. This Saturday, Kentucky, Florida, and then probably Missouri down the line.
Okay, let's talk about Florida though. Let's talk about Outbreak Central there. That after Dan goes and says, "I want 90,000."
I mean, it couldn't have happened any worse for that guy.
90,000 in this stadium.
You talk about. It was just really unfortunate timing. I mean, you should have just.
Dan Mullen said, "I want 90,000 in the stadium." Kobe said, "Hold my beer." That's so wrong.
Man, that was
We're not laughing about COVID because it's very serious, but it's like
sometimes. I mean, I get it. There were probably 100,000 people at Kyle Field that day you played them. Don't matter. Be careful what you wish for.
I mean, it seemed like Kyle Field was full when they
did. But let's see. Okay, so Tennessee played Alabama this past week in Knoxville, and that's a big old stadium. Right. Well, there was some folks wearing orange there, and they thought maybe a team would show up, and they didn't. Right. Although, unfortunately, from the other side, they lost a key player.
Jalen Waddle.
Ooh. Oh, rough.
Man, that was rough.
What? I got to think about this, too. There's something about Neyland Stadium.
Well, why is that?
Because, man, dude, I remember Georgia, they lost 4 people one year we played there, all in the same game. And then Nick Chubb got hurt there, opening play.
Yeah.
Similar to Waddle's situation early on in the game.
Waddle's, but it's not, I was going to say the turf, but those just freak. I mean, because that guy rolled on his ankle.
Yeah, I'm not saying the turf. Too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that was ugly.
It happened there in that stadium.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what happened, but something about that.
It wasn't good.
I don't know
if
Cumberland River's throwing some bad juju vibes over or what. But be careful if y'all play at Neyland Stadium. I'm telling you, watch out.
It is, it was. Yeah, it wasn't
that's
good.
Tough.
It wasn't good. It was
he's
not
a very explosive athlete.
Yeah,
very
man,
good.
I hate that for Jalen Waddle. I still think he'll be a first-round draft pick. I hope he is, and
he can be.
I mean, he's still part cheetah. And,
speaking of cheetah, let's just talk about Metcalf.
Oh my goodness,
that was impressive.
Nobody that big should be able to run that fast.
I know we're switching gears from college to NFL and you people out there, but wow.
Yeah. There is. It shouldn't be legal to move that fast and be that big.
Look, the first highlight I saw on Instagram, I don't know which account it was, but so obviously you don't have the full screen of if you're watching it on TV.
Yeah.
So I was reading the caption and it said something about him, and when it first came on, he was nowhere in the shot, and I was like, what? And then all of a sudden it was just like,
I'm telling you, he passed everybody and tracked that kid down. I mean, it was Man, and that guy runs a 4. I think the defensive back runs a 4.3.
He was just, it was like watching something out of a, like a Greek god or something running down that field, and just, I was like, man, that is impressive. As I said, it looked like Usain Bolt coming at you.
Yeah. William said he watched Metcalf run in high school. He is real.
Yeah.
I mean, he is very real. I mean, it just, and like, he is physically, like, he is just like,
that's what I'm saying. He just looked like,
and he just moved. It's like he has an engine.
It was like one of those like videos where they put an effect.
Right. Exactly.
Other people just
someone start
hitting
the button real fast, like boost.
What are you doing? Is this a video game?
That was impressive. Now there are probably 2 plays. That's probably one of the NFL plays you remember from this one. The other one has to be Derrick Henry, where he stiff armed
my word,
that grown man.
He is a beast of a gentleman. Yeah. I mean, my word.
And he was from where? Where did he go to where did he go to college? That place between Georgia and Mississippi again.
It's that place. It's that city where more people attend the games
Alabama
than are in the actual city that we talked about a few weeks ago.
I know. I'm just
Tuscaloosa, T-Town,
Title Town, or what do they call it? I don't know.
I guess that's why.
I heard that you even had an interesting experience watching the Alabama-Georgia game and it got a little interesting.
I was a bachelor that weekend, and so I thought I'd holler at my friend Hagen Harrison. I was like, I'm a Georgia fan. He's a Bama fan. We can all get along during this. It's going to be great. We'll share a couple slices of pizza, just be dudes, man.
Yeah. So,
and it was until Alabama scored, and Hagen busted out of the ceiling and the walls, and I was like,
did he really?
I mean, I expect a little enthusiasm, but
yeah.
He looked at me, he was like, I told you I'd get into it. And I was like, I get into it too.
He had to warn you. He warned you.
Of course, his getting into it had to come a little later because, we were into it there for 3 quarters, and of course we were out of it. So, but it was good. We had a good time.
William said he's jumped back to Metcalf. He was saying his senior year at Oxford, the only reason Laurel won the 100-meter at state was because he false started. I wouldn't doubt him, man. I mean,
I wouldn't want to run against him.
Yeah, unreal.
Man, it was impressive,
and just big and just moved.
Yeah,
and that was a good tackle too.
It was.
It was good. Yeah, he put one on him.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Absolutely, looked good, looked real good. So, sports always exciting. It kind of gives us a little bit,
a relief,
a little relief,
a little
something else to talk about.
Seeing Lakers win the world championship,
the news,
and the NBA. It's good seeing that.
The news is important.
It is important.
There are a lot of important things coming up.
Lakers winning the NBA title is important.
Have you seen the commercial for the state flag that's going to be on the ballot?
There's a commercial?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, man.
Is it good?
If y'all have seen it out there, tell us what you think. I think it's pretty good. They did a good job.
They kind of explaining it or something? or
a little explanation, but just highlighting it in various places. Bumper stickers, T-shirts, on flagpoles, tractors, just all over the place, just kind of showing where it can be placed.
There's some people that are already flying it. Okay, so here's my only thing with it. I like it. I mean, they've chosen it, so I mean, I'm happy.
Like that's it.
I'm happy with they chosen.
It's either yes or no for your vote, right?
I don't like the orangey red color. I wish it was more the like fire engine red color.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Do you? Okay.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. It kind of bothers me.
It kind of bothers you
because it looks kind of. It's my. It's kind of orangey red.
I don't know how the bright red would go with the gold bars.
Yeah.
Though.
Well, that's true. Again, anything as far as I'm concerned is good.
Well,
I'm happy with, and again, I'm nitpicking. I mean, I'm just talking about the color.
But
other than that, hey, I think it's clear. I think they did it. I think they did a good job. Like, you see that flag, you'll think Mississippi. I think you think that right off the bat.
That's true. And, I told you about this story when we were in Santa Monica, when we were on our honeymoon in California, where they had the circle of state flags, and the gentleman just flat out told us, was like, I cannot put the Mississippi flag out here. I will have a riot on my hands. But, okay, so let's just, fast forward to where we are right now, and the flag that's going to be on the ballot looks very sharp.
I think it does.
Very sharp. I think it's something that you could be super proud of. I mean, especially when you look at some others that are out there.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
And I'm just glad they didn't choose one that had Louisiana on the Mississippi flag.
I agree with that too. You know, this is a Mississippi state flag.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't need other states.
Even though I know people didn't intend that, but that one, like, you can see the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, it's a very recognizable state.
Yeah.
Because of its shape and, you know.
So that was, but I think they did a good job. I know some people are
commercials
upset.
look really good.
Some of our creatives are upset because of the Magnolia flag looks like clip art in their opinion. And so I get that. I know that's probably upsetting, especially for someone that is artistic. I imagine that'd be tough. They may have thought we could have come up with a better design there, but hey.
You know, come up with something that's truly one-off, like hand, you know, drawn or because by the time you would literally, even if you did that, you're going to have to get it into production somehow. And that's going to go through some sort of re-rendering process on a computer.
Yeah.
By the time it makes it to the actual product. Right.
Yeah.
So, that would be hard to really, you know, capture the single hand. Like this is that's where paintings and things come in. That's what makes them different, right?
Yeah.
They're like one.
Yeah.
I really don't look at it and think clip art, honestly.
Well, I've just done some comments I read about it, but I mean, overall, like, I'm just happy. Hey, it looks like we were potentially. So anyway, was the commercial? Was it just kind of explaining it, or was it abdicating for it?
Both, and then just it'll be, you know, on the ballot, you know, vote yes or don't vote for it type deal, but just kind of showing it in a. So in different forms.
Two items I want to ask you about since we're talking about ballot.
Okay.
And we are, by the time next time we have our podcast will be the day before the election.
It'll be the day before.
Two items that are there that I want to ask you about. One that I've seen the commercial about, one that I have not. So the first one is Prop 65.
Prop 65.
Yes. Marijuana. Legalizing. Okay. So there's 65.
Right.
65A. So 65 is the one that I saw the medical community supporting, even a former deputy sheriff supporting, that talks about responsible use of medical marijuana.
Medicinal use.
And so then there's 65A, which is made by our legislature, which is confusing. Okay. And so it's kind of like, so those two issues, I have seen the advocating for 65, which is the one that, like, there was, remember we like, there were people going around like asking about.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what 65 is. 65A is this one that our legislature kind of wrote, and it confuses and kind of muddies the water. So,
but it's different.
A little bit different. Yeah, a little different. Mm-hmm. So
are they, now you'll forgive me my ignorance here. They're both, is that both of them are going to be
both
on
of them
the
are on
ballot?
there, and that's what makes it confusing, is that, but you only vote for one or the other. So I think the first part is you answer the question about, are you in favor?
Gotcha.
And if you are, then which one
of the two,
65 or 65A?
Okay.
And so the general opinion I've seen is that 65 is the better written one, if that is the case, or you're going.
Yeah.
So,
well, interestingly enough, my mother and I had a brief conversation about that.
Right.
And I told her, I was like, you know, if and when I'm an elderly person, and the use of, you know, medicinal marijuana were to help me, or maybe it helps a loved one. I think I have to say that that's where I'm trying to put my mind, not just looking at it like it's weed or marijuana.
Right.
So
and I remember you talking about how you all discussed it while you both were smoking it. And
sure.
so
I got a roach out in the truck right now. What you talking about?
No,
Bonnie's
I'm sorry, Miss Bonnie. I'm kidding.
Now.
I'm totally kidding. Brad,
goodness.
But Brad made me say it. He gave me $12.
I get it all the time. That long-haired hippie boy, he's high as a kite right now.
But that was that one. The other issue that is on the ballot let me just pull it up because I want to make sure I want to.
Can you think while you do that and kind of brief me on what your stand is on the 65 or how you feel about it?
I'm not opposed to it for medical purposes. Sure. I mean, I have medical professionals, friends of mine that are in the medical profession that have said, hey, you know, that there are real benefits for pain management.
Right.
You know, there are, and there's real evidence out there about the benefits or uses of marijuana. And I have other friends that are just completely opposed, that feel like it is a gateway to worse things. And so so that, you know, it's a hard issue. You know, I think, you know, can people misuse prescription drugs? Yes. And so so you kind of balance it out that as well. So I guess what I'm looking at is if there's a way that it can do that where, you know, it's not just being prescribed, you know, but it's being prescribed to those that really do, you know, that are dealing with pain, you know, that I've heard people that deal with cancer, that it really has helped
great effect
them. Yeah. So
and that's
real stuff.
Yeah. That's that. I don't want to, you know, I may be in a situation one day where a loved one is in a serious situation that, you know, medical marijuana could really benefit them. Yeah. And I'm totally, you know, going to try and give them the best that they can get.
Sure.
At that particular
That makes
point
sense.
in time.
That makes sense.
And then take some home for myself.
The second one is this one that talks about our change in our process. What you think happened with?
I said then take some home for myself, but that's totally joking.
Like,
totally joking.
So the second one is this amendment that's going to be on the ballot about our multi-step process for electing state officials and rolling that back, or at least an amendment to that. And it's in Mississippi. So it's talking about, so Mississippi is the only state with a multi-step process for electing statewide positions like governor, attorney general, secretary of state. It's an electoral college-like voting system designed by white farmers in Southern Reconstruction with the intent of disenfranchising minority voters upon in white power politics. In other words, it's like a Jim Crow law that got put in. And here's where we don't directly elect, where you have so even like mostly, so if there's a 55% plus one, 50% plus one is the majority, you win. So, but in Mississippi, actually, it's 55% that you would need, plus you got to win. You have to win the Senate. Let me make sure I get that right. You have to win the Senate. The state legislature. If you don't get a certain percentage, it actually goes to this legislature, and they get to vote, and they don't have to vote by what the vote is for the people.
They just do whatever they want.
They can do what they want, and so
it's not really a vote at all.
It's right, and that's where it. So anyway, it was a very interesting article about how this was. I didn't know this was on the ballot, and then I was like, wait, this is showing up on there because if you remember, where you kind of started to hear rumblings of it was the last governor's race, when people thought it was going to be a little closer between Jim Hood and now current Governor Tate Reeves, but some people were really just not very concerned because they knew if it was close enough, you still have to win in the Senate as well. It's not just the popular vote. You have to win in the legislature. And
so you're saying that when to that point, they don't have to, the margin's really not there. It's really just whatever.
It's really with the legislature. Yeah, it is. So inside of it, yeah.
I don't know much about it, but it doesn't sound.
Well, here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna forward you the article. Obviously, the article is the title is, of course, they're sensationalizing, which is what they do. But the content is something that that as far as looking at it, something to look at, and maybe we can talk about it next week as we can do it, because it's not fair. I want you to kind of read it and kind of see there, but it talks about Mississippi's vote on Jim Crow law and that is still there. They did have some that was designed about certain things that are historical, that are really there. But just want you to read it, and that way next week we can talk about it, because I don't want you to kind of have to play catch up on it. So yeah,
but
I mean, just reading on it as far as that, and then we can look at it. But it's on the ballot. It's actually going to be on the ballot. It's another amendment. Okay. So the marijuana one is one, and then here's this other one, and then you got the flag. So we got some stuff that's big. Obviously, we're the senator is up for election as well. The senator position we're currently occupied by Senator Cindy Hyde Smith, right? And challenged by Mike Espy is the main challenger, I guess. Yeah. So we're
other than that, those two. Is there anybody else that right now that we're voting for?
Besides the president, you mean like a statewide?
Yeah.
I don't believe so. There may be in some areas, maybe they're talking about district seats or something like that. Here locally, next year I believe is the local races here for Laurel. I think for city council, mayor. Yeah. Maybe a couple of the supervisors come up for re-election. I don't know.
We might have talked about this before, but it seems like here locally that every year is an election.
Every year.
Because, being in the outdoor advertising industry, you get to do a lot of political ads.
Right, yeah.
And I swear, it's like we're doing political ads every single year.
Yeah. There's a couple positions, too, here locally. Election commissioner, that's one that's coming up as well that we're voting on locally here. But a lot of them are running unopposed. William, local judge's seat. Yeah, that's right. That is... I don't want to say that wrong. Is that circuit court? I believe so. I think currently Judge Noel Jones. Said that wrong. Sorry, Noel Rogers. Is the supervisors put him there because Judge Billy Graham, the governor appointed her to Chancery Court. So that left a vacancy, and the supervisor apparently had to fill that one. So he was appointed, and now it's an election for it. So there's Judge Noel Rogers there.
But there's no other person? It's just
no. There are other people. There's Judge there's not Judge. Sorry. Sonny Saul is a candidate. Yeah. And
you're right.
A gentleman named Jack Armstrong, I believe is his name, is the other. I think those are the three that I'm aware of.
Justice Court, yeah.
Justice Court. Oh, there we go. Justice Court. So so those are...
You're right. I remember seeing those now.
Yeah, so now those are the other ones that I've seen. I think it was the only one of those I've seen that are local, but no supervisors, no nothing like that. So
we'll vote some more next year as well.
Yeah, and the year after. So and because we don't really do absentee, we have some strict rules about absentee here in our state, so you got to vote that day. So that is, and obviously I think the turnout will be big. Do you normally go in the morning or you normally go in the evening? Like, are you one of the ones that barely gets in and forgets?
No, well, I usually, the past few times I've gone in I think one time I went in the afternoon.
Was it crowded?
I can't remember. Probably. Mm-hmm. But I think for the most part, I remember going in the evenings, after work or something. So,
I think I normally go in the morning. It used to be I go in the morning because I'd be dropping the kids off at school. I drop them off, and then on the way back, I would stop and that way, do that.
I remember growing up, my dad would always go in the morning.
Yeah.
And then when we, became of age, and we always kind of went as a family, but that was always in the evening too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'm on it and wake up early, I'll go in the morning because we'll see how I'm feeling next.
Well, maybe if you go do your workout and then go. And that way, that may clear the line out real quick.
It might.
You may be like,
in and out.
Let this man go so he can go get his shower.
Boom. Yeah, exactly. That's right. This man's got to go.
Let him go.
That's right. But he smells of whatever
hard
number
work.
60. He smells of 65.
Hard work is good. So
you need to work harder. But.
Well, good, man. Well, listen, like I said, I think it's been crazy. Man, we're
doing
well.
Time? Yeah.
We good?
Absolutely.
Well, listen, it's been cool.
Steady connection the whole time. So.
It's been good. William Frazier, we appreciate you for helping out.
Yes, sir.
Man, we had 38 minutes, so I guess we got a little short, but William has been, William helped out. He's trying. I'm going to put that out there. He's trying to take my fantasy football league title.
Yes.
And so... he need to stand down, but I'm gonna let him do his little joyride right now.
When is the Super Bowl? Have they pushed that back? Because
I don't think they've had to yet, but I think if there's any more delays, I think they may have to.
Well, it seems like I know we're totally jumping right back into this, but I just didn't know with so the college playoff and national championship game is that scheduled to be a little later because. You got some of the conference championship games that have been pushed back a little bit just because the season got started.
Well, remember there was a month in between we had to endure them horrible bowl games. We're
gonna do away with some of them.
Jeep Cherokee, who gives a you know what bowl.
We made it to the honky tonk toilet bowl.
Right, here we go. Yeah, the ring.
Yeah, I guess
the ring security system bowl. I mean, they had them all. So you had a month. You had a month in between that.
You're right.
It'd be where usually you had a month and then you'll start. Well, then the playoffs start. So
yeah.
So I think this year, a couple things I think of since you jumped us right back into this.
Sorry,
I think what's hard is I think it's rough. The committee didn't expand the playoff this year.
I am so ready for them to do that.
But
are they?
I don't. If they didn't do it this year, I don't think it's gonna happen for another. I think the contract is another 8 or 10. I can't remember. I can't remember. Yeah, it's like a number.
That's gross.
Which they. And for me, I don't want to go to 8 teams. I think 8 teams is a lot.
You could do 6.
I would do 6. And here's why. Because I think the top 2 teams deserve a bye.
I'm okay with that.
I think that is. Here's the other part.
I just like seeing more teams.
I'm over neutral site games.
I know.
I don't want to see another neutral site game. One, especially now, it almost.
What's the point?
Yeah, even now. Like it just again,
this year.
It just highlights it that. Of
course. Unfortunately, though, it's going to be neutral. But even if it were, we can just look ahead to maybe next year. And a playoff game at one or the other person's home would just be amazing.
The atmosphere would be amazing.
Yeah.
With the college, with the bands. I just think, and those teams deserve it. And they do it in the other divisions in the NCAA.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So maybe the home game, maybe the championship game is at a neutral site.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
a little money involved.
But to do we had friends.
Playoff.
We had friends that were, good friends I worked with that when I was a chaplain at Coca-Cola that were Alabama fans, and so of course they're regularly involved in the championship, And so Right. And so, for them, like he talked about, so this last one where they went out to Clemson, out to California, and Clemson won.
Yeah.
But they talked about like how so the plane ride to the semifinal game, that's one deal. And then they have to do the plane ride to California, which again is a time change. And coming back here, we lose time. So going over, you're gaining it.
Oh, sure.
But for us back at home, we're losing it.
It's tough.
So it was tough for them, even getting flights out after the game, the cost of hotels, the cost of gas, everything is more expensive.
Just bring it to T-Town.
It was a lot. It was a lot. So anyway, I just was disappointed they didn't expand it to 6. And then eliminate these neutral site games, as far as for the playoff. I just think it's more. How exciting would it be?
I'm sick and tired of Georgia and Florida playing in Jacksonville. Like I don't.
Yeah,
get
what
that
is what is that about?
Man.
Is that agreement that they make? Is
Who
that like
knows?
halfway between the two?
It's not even that. It's like little skip for Florida and then just decent little haul for Georgia. But I don't understand that one. I don't know, but I know it's farther.
Did you ask Siri?
No.
Why don't you do that?
Because she'll just be like, here are some web answers for you. But I mean.
Hey, Siri. How far is it from sorry, where am I going? You didn't even tell me. How far is it from Gainesville, Florida?
No, Jacksonville to Athens.
No. Hold on. See, now you know.
The game is held in Jacksonville.
All right. So we want to know from Athens to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Siri.
Can we?
How far is it from Athens, Georgia to Jacksonville, Florida?
Jacksonville is about 344 miles from Athens by car.
344 miles. Now ask how far is it from Gainesville to Jacksonville?
Hey, Siri, how far is it from Gainesville, Florida to Jacksonville, Florida?
I hope it's so much shorter.
Jacksonville is about 71 miles from Gainesville by car.
That's not a neutral site.
That's not a neutral site.
It's not. I mean, how can it? If it was neutral, then play it in Texas.
Well, no one would come to that from Florida and Georgia.
That's what I'm saying, though. But if you got a Florida team, play it in Florida.
Would you rather be played at the Superdome?
What I would rather be played is at each person's home field on the schedule.
I agree.
I don't even know when the last time that's happened.
That must be a TV deal. They must be making good TV
definitely
money.
In some CBS.
It's a TV deal.
TV
and Jacksonville is a big city.
It's big, but
Jacksonville's a big city.
I just don't. I mean, I know they used to be able to like market it as the biggest outdoor cocktail party. So that was like what they called it. And then they tried to, get away from that because everybody already knew the cocktails were flowing heavily. So we don't need to, promote that.
Okay.
But they split it right down the middle, and it's that's the only unique. But I still think players and fans would like you said, let's just mix it up and go to each individual's home stadium. And
so I'm thinking, let's say there's a final 6, right? Let's say Alabama, Clemson.
You're going off the rankings right now because you're going to have to throw
who's the other 2 right now? There's Big Ten. There's Ohio State.
Ohio State jumped
with Justin Fields. And who's number 4? Is Notre Dame 4th? Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord.
I know. Notre Dame.
Oh, Clint Rayburn, don't even start. Don't even start your stuff. Go Gators.
Anyway,
they need to get back on the field. Okay, so that was the 4. So who's the next 2? Let's say for some reason they make a rule that a Pac-10 team has to get in. So who's that? Is that Oregon? So let's say Oregon is 5, and let's say Oklahoma's been having some trouble.
Oklahoma has been having trouble.
So I don't know who's coming from out of that. Is that Oklahoma State or I don't know who's coming out of there?
Oklahoma State's playing well.
Okay, so let's say Oklahoma State. So we got Oklahoma State, Oregon, Notre Dame,
Ohio State.
Who's above that? Who was before we said Notre Dame?
Ohio State.
Were they 3?
Yeah.
Okay, 3. All right. So you would have a game between 3 plays the lowest seed. Mm-hmm. So 3
6
would probably play. That would be Oregon or Oregon.
Whoever.
So I keep saying Oregon or whoever. And then you got the other one, which would be Notre Dame against whoever, and we know who win that. So how cool then if you have? So let's say Oregon wins. To have Oregon versus Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
I like it, man.
Come on. I mean, it would be amazing.
I think, but
or having Oklahoma State play Clemson in,
with us
Clemson.
Even talking about this, we're just keeping so many dollars from somebody's pocket. That's really all it boils down to.
Right, and so it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So unfortunately, us talking about it, us all talking about it, we needed to have
We needed to. I thought we would have at least had the chance for them to expand it because everybody, even baseball, expanded their playoffs this year, which has been awesome.
Yeah, they did.
I liked
the way they did it too.
The NBA did awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what hockey that didn't follow close enough to know.
I couldn't tell you.
But
my good friend Evan Lindsay could though.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at. So
we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, we jumped a little bit.
We did, but that's okay.
We jumped back in a little bit. All right. So we are near our end of our time. Again, where can they find us at?
You can find us at Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify. That's a pretty popular platform. And also, we usually upload the video recording to our YouTube channel, the Brad and James Podcast. So head on over there, subscribe. It's free. Hey, I got to thinking about this.
Yeah.
We're always looking for free stuff.
Okay.
And everything I've just mentioned is 100% completely free to you all. So it won't hurt you in any way. It's not going to cost you anything, but it will help us out. So that's about it. That's where they can find us. And you can find us next Monday night, the night before.
The night before.
Could be the night before. And then we could come back the next week, and we could be saying the
same thing. Right. We may not know, may not be able to declare winner for a while. So yeah.
Yep. But that's it, man.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in and watching.
Thanks for hanging in there with us.
And through our technical difficulties, we hope to have those resolved by next week. We'll see ya next week.
Take care.